back into those groups again.
Okay.
Someone said they sent you. I just got a message from a
Okay.
Deborah Ward. Said I'm on Michael's page and sent a friend request, but not seeing the watch party. Can you assist?
I just started it.
Okay.
All right, I think we're live. So
We're live.
yeah.
All right.
Let me get rid of
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers. Get rid of this. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bill. So we agreed beforehand to make this not only a watch party, but also a little bit of a craft beer situation. So in honor of you living in Charleston, I've got a Cooper River Brewing Company, India Pale Ale, IPA, and
Very, very nice.
you have what?
This is a homebrew from Charleston, from my garage. First one ever. So my isolation project. When I couldn't leave the house with the kids, I decided to make alcohol because I needed it.
So is that the first one you've ever drunk out of that batch, or this isn't an experiment, is it? On live TV?
No, no. There's probably about 12 left.
Okay.
out of about 50. So 5 gallons. 5 gallons. I went big.
Awesome. Well, let's get going.
Yeah.
We have Bill Olson here from Year Realtor in Charleston, South Carolina. And Bill, you haven't been in the business all that long. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got started in real estate? I know it's an interesting story, and also a little bit of your history so far in the business.
Yeah, so kind of didn't have a plan on doing it. I was working in restaurants for over 15 years and was just content. And then once my wife and I got married, she was working during the day, I was working at night. So we needed a change, and so we could see each other. And it just kind of happened. I knew people that had made that transition and been very successful because of the customer service side of everything, being able to talk to people and not being stuck at a desk. So that was kind of what made that decision. And then if you haven't heard the story, I'll tell it real quick. One night, Eddie Wilder and his wife came in for dinner, sat in my section, and I hadn't even thought of real estate yet, but we were searching for our first home. He handed me his business card, said, if you ever need anything, call me. Fast forward 6 months later, and I had interviewed with just about everyone in Charleston and kept driving by this office here and decided to stop in one day. He was sitting here and he remembered me. And that was pretty much all it took, was that he remembered the guy who brought him his steak 6 months prior. And he remembered the service and how personable I was. And that spoke volumes to me. So here I am almost 5 years later and haven't looked back. Hit the ground running and just started cutting back at the restaurant and finally made the full transition in 2016. And then the following year, I was awarded Rookie of the Year for that first full year, and just been going up since then.
That's awesome. That's actually, pretty quick success to be named National Rookie of the Year out of thousands and thousands of agents. That's pretty good. I mean, what do you sort of attribute to that just quick success that you had in real estate?
A lot of the support that I had here, between, Eddie and Lucinda and Elza, kind of everyone just here that kind of supported me and taught me. And then the other agents, I don't know if she's on here, Robin, just kind of took me under their wing. And I was the young guy and I knew nothing about real estate when I came in, but I knew a lot about the tech side of everything. And we had some experienced agents who were the complete opposite. So I actually sat in the office every day, and if they had Facebook or questions about anything tech, I would help them, knowing that when I needed the help with real estate, that they would be able to answer my questions, and they kind of owed me a favor, if I do say so myself. And hold on, my phone started ringing. Sorry about that. So it just kind of that helped. I got to learn from them, but then also learn the tech side of things that they needed the help with, that I kind of got thrown into.
So just for clarification, Eddie's the owner of the company. And
Hey, Bill.
Hey.
There
I think
are
you
people
spilled
in
some
the
of your
office,
beer.
clearly. So Eddie's is the owner of the company, broker.
The owner, and he was the broker here in the Charleston office when I started.
And I know you
he
mentioned
had just opened this less than a year, I believe, before I started.
Right. Well, that's cool. So let's get into what we're here to talk about, and that's your video making, and that's something that you have sort of become infamous. I would say I think infamous is more than famous, right? That's what that means.
Yeah.
Infamous for your
we'll
videos.
stick with that.
and they certainly they're certainly creative, and so that's kind of where I want to focus today, on the creativity. But also what's interesting to me, and we'll hop into this a little bit later, is how you actually do all of the video production yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You shoot it yourself, you edit it yourself. You don't have anybody else helping you. So an agent who's out there saying, I've got to have all these resources, all these people, it's going to cost thousands of dollars. That's just not the case. So let's get into definitely how you do that yourself. But what I want to do is throw a couple of clips up here that I'd just like to have you comment on. Let me see if I can get this screen share to work and not blow anything up. But I'm going to start here with, let's see, which one's Split Hickory?
That's The Falling Sign.
All right, we'll go.
Oh, no. That one's that's Mr. Rogers.
All right, let's start there.
That's
Split
a good
Hickory.
one. That's a really good one.
All right, y'all watch this, and we'll get into some details about it.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, might as well say, would you be mine? Would you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please won't you be my neighbor?
All right, tell us a little bit about that.
So, we all know nostalgia kind of it tugs at those heartstrings. This house was actually directly across the street from my old house last year. And when my neighbor asked me to list it, I was like, I need to do something. Like, how am I going to do this? That was just maybe I can just ask someone to be my neighbor. Ironically, I don't live there anymore. I actually sold my house right after this, but
didn't like the new neighbors.
No. But that's kind of how that one started, and it just kind of evolved into what's the most you know, who asked people to be their neighbor? Mr. Rogers, like every day for what, 70 years or whatever. It's like, I can do this. So it took a lot of practicing. That is actually not me singing. That's actually Mr. Rogers
Notice the lip sync
singing.
there.
Yes, yeah, just a little bit. And if you find the video on YouTube and watch it to the end, I actually got 5 neighbors to be in the video, and all of them saying, "Won't you be my neighbor?" So, you know, yeah, it had that nostalgia that kind of drew people in, and then it had those neighbors that would probably want to share the video because they were in it, and the home was in their neighborhood.
So you, it's a 4-minute video, so I don't want to go through the whole thing. If you have a period I can jump to, but you start to get into the details of the home and things like that. Not too much though. Where's a good point to jump to? And I'll just because
I mean, so after I do that, you know, I talk about the home a little bit right there, and then, you know, I go into your
convenience
your
of being
normal
just a few
B-roll
miles from downtown. This home features 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms.
So keep going a little further. Go
open
towards the
floor
end.
plan and a fenced-in yard that backs up to Barbary Woods.
So this is kind of cheesy. There's a piano in the house. So I was like, I need to sit at the piano
Shoot me a text or an
and
email,
pretend like
I'll
I
be
was
more
playing
than
the
happy
piano
to
music.
set it up so that you can be mine.
Well, Mr. Rogers
Won't
does.
you be my neighbor? Won't you be our neighbor? Won't you be my neighbor?
Won't you be my neighbor?
I love how
So-
you threw in the text DRA in there. That's awesome.
Yep. So, you know, that one was kind of an easy idea to come up with. Just, you know, again, it's, you know, I think of things that are around me, things that people are going to know and remember, and especially if I'm going to copy something, you know, you copy something that's either popular right then or is timeless. And Mr. Rogers was one of those things that I thought was, well, not thought, I know, everyone knows who it is. No matter what age you are, everyone knows Mr. Rogers. So
Yep.
I took that idea and I ran with it.
What kind
had a lot
of
of
response
fun.
what kind of response did you get, you know, from the public, but also probably from other realtors and other, you know, when you started pushing this out in your marketing channels?
So this one got great response from everyone, no matter what they were. And, you know, I'll kind of go into it real quick, like what these videos, like their whole purpose. Because if you've seen my other videos, there's one I just did that it's called the Shut the Front Door video. And, you know, I talk about, you know, if you don't like this house, then you can shut and then it cuts to me. I'm like, the front door is wonderful. And every time I'm about to swear, it cuts to something that kind of sounds like a swear word, like the shirts and the forks and the front door. That one actually got me a comment from another agent on Facebook who said, I would never want my clients to see this. He's like, I didn't even make it past the front door. Like, I can't believe that your potential clients are going to see this video. First off, my sellers loved it. So first and foremost, that's what matters, is the sellers love these videos because they get engagement, they get attention. Someone who probably wouldn't watch a real estate video will watch my videos because they're entertaining, not because of the house. So we get the viewer, we hook the viewer for longer with the entertainment factor, and it just happens to be about the house. And then they're watching and they're like, oh, that's a great house. Uncle Joe might love that. Or, you know, I know someone who's looking for a house in that neighborhood. And so it almost becomes a secondary thing of the house, but it also gets more eyes on the property. And, you know, and it's also your vibe attracts your tribe. So there's a lot of people that see my videos and they're like, I would never do that, or I would never hire anyone who does that. And I'm perfectly okay with that because they're probably going to be boring and I'm not going to want to work with them anyways. But the people that see my videos and say, wow, he gets great engagement, I love his creativity in marketing homes, I want to hire him, those are the people I do want to work with. They're going to be fun. They're going to let me be me and be creative and get their house sold using outside the box thinking. At the end of the day, we all do the same thing, but we all tell sellers we are different. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. You know, I tell people I'm different, and I say, look, I dress up like Mr. Rogers. Ah, this one. Yes, there it is.
I'm going to play a little bit of this.
Yeah,
just
we play
because
the beginning.
Isn't it so true, though, that so many agents do what another agent does and they just copy each other, right?
I did get this idea from an agent in another market, an agent in Minnesota, but it fit me. Like, there's a lot of agents that could not pull this off because it's not their personality. Right. You know, when you're doing your videos, like, you have to input your own personality into it, because that's who people want to hire. They want to hire that person in the video, that person who's making these crazy videos. If your style is making a super polished HGTV style video, like, that's who you better be when you show up for that appointment.
So I love your vibe attracts your tribe. And do you really think that if somebody hated your video, that would be a good client for you to work with anyway?
No.
I mean, that just makes sense, right? Your vibe attracts your tribe. And it goes to the point of, you can't be all things to everyone, right?
Right.
Let's play a clip of this. Loving it.
Welcome to 4801 Law Boulevard in Westcott Plantation. This home has an open floor plan, sits on a corner lot, and today I'm going to take you on a tour through it, and you're absolutely going to love it. And if you don't, you can shut the front door. Is solid. Really adds to the curb appeal of this home. We do ask that upon entering, only necessary parties come in, and please be sure to wipe your feet, because people still do live here. And we don't want you to be a den. Is right off the entrance of the home with a big bay window that provides plenty of natural light.
All right, I think we get the point.
Yeah. That one did get a little pushback from another agent.
Great.
But again, I was like, you know what? That's fine. Like, if you want to be a stick in the mud, like, then these wouldn't have been the clients for you. And the people that he works with, I don't want to work. I mean, there's plenty of business out there for everybody. Mm-hmm. You know, people, if you're fake, people will see right through you. Please let me be who I am.
So truth. I don't know how many people know this, but didn't you get in trouble one time with the MLS for saying this house is cute AF?
Yes. So I put that in a listing description, and the first 2 words were cozy AF, and we sold the house in 24 hours over asking. The broker said you should change it to sold AF. But then I got an email from our MLS that another agent sent in a complaint saying that this is sent out to the public. He is giving a bad name to all agents. And you know what AF means? It means as bleep. And like, on and on and on. And I guarantee it was one of the 3 offers that we declined on the house, and they were just salty AF. But yeah, and
that's awesome.
But it got noticed. I mean, what they say, bad press is, you know, better than no press, right? I guess.
Well, how many people get no press? Exactly. I love it. So I'm gonna we've got a couple more clips to look at, so let's go through those. But you know, as soon as we're done watching these, we certainly want to hear what your inspiration is behind every one we play. Let me get rid of a couple of these tabs. So I'm going to go to Dingle Road, which, you know,
another nostalgic. These are all of these that we're playing today have that nostalgia, things that people recognize and relate to.
I saw the so set this up real quick. You sent it to me in a particular spot.
So the beginning is just kind of me introducing it, so we don't need to do that. But right about here, about the 16-second mark, is where it gets into what people recognize, something that they remember that's going to pull them in, maybe remind them of their childhood or of good, funny memories that they have from growing up and watching the show on TV. With the 3-story townhomes, it just kind of fit. I was like, these kind of look like they should be in San Francisco, and that kind of progressed into what you're about to see here.
Let's push play.
Whatever happened to predictability? The milkman, the paperboy, evening TV. Everywhere you look, there's a heart, a hand to hold on to. Everywhere you look, there's a face of somebody who needs you. Everywhere you look, when you're lost out there and you're all alone, life is waiting to carry you home. Everywhere you look, everywhere you look.
That one was fun.
That was fun. Tell us, we may have some younger people in here, not sure what that is. Tell us the inspiration behind that.
I grew up in the era of Full House, and all my life, when people find out my last name is Olson, one of two things happens. They say, if they're older, they ask if I'm related to Jimmy Olsen, who was a reporter at the Daily Planet with Superman.
Right.
And if they're about my age or younger, they ask if I'm related to Mary Kate and Ashley. So it kind of was a play on that, because I got to put that in there because everyone always asks me that. So I actually studied the opening of that. And if you watch, I think it's Candace Cameron is on her phone on the bed. She waves, and everyone gets surprised that the camera is there. I was like, let me just play off of that. And luckily the music wasn't copyrighted on either of those. And so I was able to use it in the videos without things getting shut down or me getting kicked off social media.
So do you go into listing presentations and show these videos to potential listings? And
yes.
What is the reaction like? Does anybody ever say just get out, or they say this is
not yet? Not yet. I'm waiting for the polite I'm sorry, but we're not going to hire you. I haven't had it yet. Most people, sometimes you can sense the hesitation at first, but it's all about, just like everything, it's all about the delivery. And it's about why I do it. Things have changed. Even in the past couple months, but since I've been in the industry in the past 5 years, things have changed as to what our job actually is. And no one says it, but our job is a marketer. If you list a house, you are a marketer. You are marketing that house. Just like when you turn on the TV and you see a Coca-Cola commercial, they hired a marketer to sell their product. They hired you to sell their product. The seller's product is the house. So look at the commercials you see on TV. Are they all slideshows? I love ERA, don't get me wrong. iTours. But it's slideshows of the pictures, and it's not engaging. It's not anything. If you saw a commercial for a product on TV and it was just a picture moving around and changing, like you'd never go buy that. But if it was like a monkey and people clothing or babies or I don't know if you saw the Ja Rule commercial for the Greek restaurant that just went viral like 2 days ago. It's crazy. It's crazy. Look it up. But I want to go out to LA and eat at this Greek restaurant because Ja Rule did this crazy, stupid commercial about it. And there's no production value. And it's just him in front of a green screen pretty much trying to pronounce Greek food. And so that's kind of the approach that I take. Is my job is to get your home in front of as many people as I can.
So when you're in like a competition with other agents for a listing, let's say, and a lot of times we don't have competition, which kind of makes us lazy. But when you do, what's the other agents showing up clearly with, hey, we've got a virtual tour, or hey, here's a flyer we'll make for you. I mean, what is the reaction of the sellers to say, yeah, we're not gonna mess with those guys?
So hold on, it got dark in my office. So what I say is, first, once you establish whether they've sold a home or not, does dictate how things go for me. Because if they've sold a home, I blow through a lot of stuff pretty quick. Mm-hmm. I'm like, here's what I do that all other agents do. It's going to happen whoever you hire. And I'm like, I don't want to sugarcoat some of this. I was like, here's how it works. I'm like, we put in the MLS, it's going to Zillow, it's going to all those other agent sites. It's doing this. It's like, I don't want to blow smoke up your ass and tell you that I'm special because it does this. And like, it automatically does that. I was like, what I do is I go in and I make sure that everything's correct. I want to highlight what I do that differentiates me. I want to spend time on that and how that benefits them, as opposed to going in like, your home's going to be on 5,000 websites. Like, isn't that so cool? And, it sounds impressive, but if you kind of break it down and then you're honest with them and, right, pretty much saying, I do the same thing everyone else does, and then I do this on top of it.
Right.
And that's what sets you apart. That's when I go into the videos. I'm like, if an agent said they do a video, did they show you an example of it? Like, I want to show you my videos. And here's what I do. And, I set it up so that they know that they're expecting it to be funny if they haven't seen it yet. And it's not like a complete shock to the system. But, like I said earlier, every agent goes in and says, there's like 6,500 agents here in Charleston. I think 3,000 of them have closed a deal this year. And they all say they're different. And they all say they're the best. And, back it up. Whatever it is that you do, whatever your thing is, you have to back that up. You can't just say it.
Yeah, I like Zam Monroe's statement about, every agent shows up with a pre-printed CMA from a computer programmed by a 14-year-old in China. So
and they all look the same. Like the reports, like we all show up with the same report. Right. We all pulled the same comps. We all put a sign in the yard.
Right. Absolutely. And this certainly goes a long way to branding yourself. If someone else tried to do this now in your market,
they'd be the guy that copied Bill.
They'd be the guy that copied Bill, or it wouldn't go over probably as well either, because they are the guy that copied Bill. Let's dive into another one here. Let me see. Let's go to we've got one more. I'm going to leave this one for last, but I want to go to I May Not Be a Realtor. Yeah. And see. Let's talk about that one a little bit, because that's not focused on a listing. Actually, it's focused. It's more of a general marketing.
Yeah.
So let's go through here. Oh, can you hear that sound?
Yeah, it's a little quiet, but I can hear it.
Okay, I'm gonna start that over because there's a
Clearly, the
little.
guy in that video used to get haircuts.
I have to click a button to share the audio, so I'll make sure I did. All right, here we go.
Car on my bicycle in elementary school, I'm probably not the right realtor for you. I may not be your realtor if you don't like dad jokes. If you expect your realtor to wear a tie every day, I'm probably not the right realtor for you. Fact is, it gets hot and it's uncomfortable all the time. I may not be your realtor if you think it's a problem that I always forget about my Cole's cat. Like every time. All right, it's a problem. I may not be your realtor if you don't want to work with a real person. If you have trouble pronouncing this street name, I'm probably not the right realtor for you. But it's okay, we can work on it. I had trouble when I first moved here too. If you have an issue with me wearing my custom Chuck Taylors, I may not be the right realtor for you. I may not be your realtor if you think it's a problem that I like to keep things personal. If you don't think Taco Boy has the best nachos in Charleston, I'm probably not the right realtor for you. Dude, this shit's the bomb. And on that note, if you have an issue with me swearing every once in a while on accident, I'm probably not the right realtor for you. I know what you might be thinking. Bill, why are you telling people that they might not be a good fit to work with you? Don't you want to work with anybody? I don't. I mean, I love y'all, but I don't. I want to work with people that want to work with me. If you're offended that I like to take a few hours
That's
after
the
work,
greatest point of that one
my
there.
wife and kids, and probably won't text you back until late at night, I'm probably not the realtor for you. If you're not okay stopping for ice cream while we're out looking at homes, I'm probably not the realtor for you.
We've got, yeah, that is pretty blunt to the point, and I love it.
Yeah, and you know
love it.
that's that whole point of, listen, I'm not for everybody, and I've actually had a lot of people who have reached out to me. I just got one the other day. Said, I hope you had a great Father's Day and that your wife's cat didn't give you too much trouble. And I was like, why would she say that? And I was like, oh, because of my Not Your Realtor video when I ask if I want to give my wife's cat away in the middle of the video, I try and give her cat away. And you know, people, they see it and they're like, I like this guy. Like, you know, I get the job done, but we're gonna have fun time while we do it. You know, buying and selling a home is stressful. And you know, and if you don't want to have a little fun, then you know, I'm probably not your realtor.
Well, I think it's creative. You know, what kind of gave you the idea to do that, and what, you know, where did you come up with every single if this then that?
You know, a lot of it was Charleston stuff, and there was an agent who had done something like that in a group I'm in, and you know, we had all kind of like jumped on it, and like a bunch of agents across the country, that it fit our style. And I mean, I saw a couple of people tried to do it and they failed miserably because you could tell that it just wasn't them. And when I saw it, I was like, that's exactly how I run my business. I was like, this is a video that I have to make right now. And within a week, I had it done. I probably made a list of like 100 different things that I wanted to say. And I know Michael's in sure, if anyone else is in South Carolina watching this, you know that people that are from here hate people from Ohio. I'm one of them from Ohio. So at the very end, I say, if you have a problem with people that are from Ohio, I'm probably not the right realtor for you. Like, I had to throw that in there. But I mean, I probably had 75 or more things that I wanted to say. And I just started weeding them out because some were just bad. They were really bad. And then I got it down to about the 4.5 minute video. And I literally grabbed my camera and I just walked around downtown with my list and just kind of filmed as many of them as I could, and then just cut it down to the zingers.
Does that live on your website, or is that part of your ongoing marketing?
Yeah, that lives on my YouTube channel. Usually people find that after they've watched other videos of mine, and that's more of like a call to action video. After they've seen me, they've seen what I do, then you hit them with that video, because it's that, hey, here's who I am. You've seen what I do. Like, if you still like me, call me.
It's amazing. I love it. So this, I'm leaving the best clip for last. I'll say the best, but the most unique clip for last.
The most recent, too.
And please, I think you may.
Let me preface this one a little bit.
That's what I was saying. You may need
a lot
to
of
set
people
it up.
probably. So I had been sitting on this idea for months, but I needed a vacant listing. And to be honest, I don't even remember how I came up with the idea. I think, Michael, we've talked about this, the Notes app in your phone. It's where ideas go to die. And I have a note in my phone that just says video ideas. Here's a little trip inside my brain. Buckle up. So I get ideas from everywhere. Good, bad, ugly, whatever. I put them on this note in my phone the second I get them, or I'll forget them. That's how I work. And they might sit there for a while, and then one day I'll scroll through and be like, oh my God, this is perfect for this situation. This video was just sitting there. Seller asked if they should move everything out of the house. I said, please do it. I sent the photos to Box Brownie, which will virtually stage a home. So that's kind of how these transitioned work on this video. And then, for other videos, well, let's go into this and then we'll talk about more of the creative process. But this was 3 to 4 months just sitting there begging me to make this video. And then the situation finally arose, and our first offer was the ex-wife. So that made it a little more interesting.
Put the Box Brownie at the bottom in case anybody's interested. We've used them before. They're incredible.
Yep, and much cheaper than staging a home.
Yes. Let me cue this up, and then feel free to. Well, you may want to.
This again. I mean, I think there's a theme here of what I do. The nostalgia. You kind of you pull on the things that people remember, and I think everyone remembers Bob Ross and Happy Little Trees.
Let's play it.
We're going to put a couch and some chairs.
But I will communicate with you by 4 to 8 tonight, realistically, and we'll go from there. But again,
Yeah, that looks like a comfortable place to sit. To make this room
It's so cheesy. I'm sorry, people.
I think we need to put a TV right above the fireplace. So go ahead and get a little more paint on there. I'm not gonna-
That's pretty much how he painted. Just like threw shit on a canvas, and then it turned into a picture magically.
Yep.
There.
He beat his brush. He's like, beat the devil out of it.
Now, if you like to have guests over like I do, you're going to need a place to entertain. So we're going to go ahead right here in the dining room.
I'm a straight shooter. I don't do this to anybody. There are
How far should I go with this one?
That's good. So right at the beginning, though, I took the tree out of the front of the house, and I painted the tree in so I could say Happy Little Trees.
So let's go ahead.
And
where is that?
it's right at the beginning. It starts with it. Go to about maybe like the 10-second. Yeah, start right there.
Welcome. And if you've been with us before, welcome back. Today, we're going to be using a canvas of 611 Railsford Drive in Somerville, South Carolina. A lovely little brick ranch 1,150 square
top
feet,
inspector,
3
so
bedrooms
not too
and 1
keen on him
bathroom.
doing the inspection for this
As you
house,
can
but,
see,
I'd
it
love
is
to
missing
introduce
something.
some of
So
these guys who are
we're going to take a little bit of our green paint,
guys, but, I'll send you information to you.
and we're just going to paint a happy little tree. Side to side brush strokes, you're going to create a wonderful little happy tree right in front of the home.
That is
So-
awesome.
I usually don't tell my clients what I'm going to do with the video because sometimes I don't know until I get there.
Right.
And so once I was done, I sent this to him, and it was a while before he responded. I'm like, Jesus, he hates it. I was like, he hates it. He hasn't responded. And he sent me a text, and then he shared it on Facebook like right away. After he sent me the text back, he's like, I sent this to my family. They absolutely love it. Like, you are amazing. And on Facebook, he said, like, this is why we're working with Bill. Like, our realtor is so creative. And I have past clients that still share my videos because of that. And so that's getting it in front of even more people
Mm-hmm.
because I'm stupid. I mean, for lack of better terms, I make stupid videos.
We won't quite go there, but
Yeah, they are.
So the most amazing part to me, and probably you're perfectly willing to say, look, I look stupid. This is dumb. This is embarrassing.
Mhm.
But you do it anyway, and
Yeah.
and so that's one thing that is impressive to me. The other thing is you do it all by yourself. You don't have cameramen or women. You don't
I don't
have
have the budget for that.
editors. Yeah, you don't have the budget for it. You don't have editors. You don't have fancy equipment. You just kind of
Well,
walk
I
with
do have fancy equipment, but we won't get into that.
fancy
You
equipment.
don't need fancy equipment. I have some of it, but you don't need it.
Tell us
at
how you
all.
do it, because it looks in a lot of the videos, it looks like you are have a cameraman
Mhm.
in front of you filming the whole thing, and you don't.
Yep. So anything I do, you could do on your phone. So I do have one of these, a gimbal, which makes the footage not shaky. But a great thing with this, so this is the DJI Osmo mobile, and then I do have a bigger one here that fits my big camera. The nice thing about both of these, this one is like $120. We won't talk about the other one. But so with this, you can put your phone on it, click on your face, and walk around a room, and this will have the camera follow you so that your face is always in the center of the footage. So the Mr. Rogers video, I set everything up and I selected my face and I walked out the door. And then the second I came in, it detected my face and it followed me walking around the room. My wife goes, who did you hire to help you? I didn't see anyone at that house because she works from home. She was right across the street. I was like, no one. And I showed her. She's like, that's pretty cool. And so, I mean, that's a lot cheaper than hiring someone to follow you around. If you have kids, they probably know how to work this stuff better than most people. So, let them have a couple extra cookies or something after dinner and help you. But for me, it's a hobby. I'm not going to say it's easy because it's not. I've spent countless hours learning all of this, learning how to video edit, and I usually do it, with a beer after work or after the family goes to bed, and I play around with it. And I could do it a lot quicker if I'm sitting in the office and I'm under a time constraint. I can pump it out pretty quick now, but usually I'm just playing around, listening to some music, and experimenting. Like I said, to me, the whole making and editing of video is a hobby. So I'm always trying to push myself. which if you're getting into video, I would suggest you do as well. Once you get comfortable, push yourself to the next level, whether it's, okay, now I need to learn how to do this one thing and incorporate it into my next video. So then take the time and learn that. And then once you get that down, then add something else. Don't try and go all in all at once, because you'll get so overwhelmed. I use Final Cut Pro on my Mac, which is the advanced version of iMovie. If you have a Mac or even an iPhone, you have iMovie for free, and it is more than capable of making some great videos. Basically, you put 2 clips in and it clicks them together, and you can put a transition in there which might fade from one or wipe across the screen to the other. If you want to get into that stuff, I mean, look at the app, shoot some videos of your kids, or when you're at the beach, or just your own home. Like, film your own house. That's the best way to figure it out, and just start putting things together and figure out what works, and then take that and emulate it at your listing. Use the same transitions that you did. And maybe you don't have to be in your first couple of videos, but I do suggest that you be in them, because your face is your brand. That's what people associate you with.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
Uh-oh, you're in trouble. Why? What did we do?
If my face is my brand, I'm in trouble.
Oh.
So I know a lot of agents are shy, camera shy, but just standing in front of a
Get
camera,
over it.
right? Get over it. But standing in front of a camera is one thing, but coming up with something that really stands out, because I mean, how many let's be honest, how many dumb Facebook Live videos are there out there with an agent just standing there and saying, "Hey,
come look at my open house today. In this house you can't even see behind me." Because the phone's so close to my face.
I don't think dumb. At least they're doing something. But
Right,
what you do is take it to the next level. So, do you have to? Do you storyboard this whole thing? And by storyboard, I mean, do you draw it out, write it out? Do you have a script, or do you just wing it? Because I know, like Mr. Rogers, you certainly couldn't wing that.
Yes, that is my answer. Yes to all of that. It depends. You have to be flexible, because stuff goes wrong. Mm-hmm. And what I do before I get to a house is, you've been in the house a few times for your appointment, or your follow-up appointment, whatever. And so you know what the house looks like. So I'll write down, okay, these are the features that I need to get on film right here. Those are my must-have shots. Then I have okay, I need to get these, but I'm not sure how I want to get them. Like, if there's super high-end appliances, then yeah, you want close-ups of those. But if they're, old white appliances, then, maybe I'll put in there like wide-angle kitchen. Now, I don't know where I'm going to stand when I do it, so I'll probably take a ton of video of the kitchen. For every 4-minute listing video, I probably take about 40 minutes of video on the high end, maybe 20 on the low end, because there's going to be a lot of crap in there. So don't think that you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to do this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and I'm going to be gone. Spend some time in each room. If you're doing like the pans and all that, like that style of video, and do it different ways. Like if you're standing in one spot, maybe pan this way once, go up and go down, and then move and do it. And then so when you go back, you're gonna be like, oh, well, this one actually had a glare in it, so I can't even use it. But if that's the only thing you have, then you're stuck with it. So when I do my shot list, I do a general shot list of what I really want to get and what I need to get, but I'm not sure how. And for a script, I usually have that written out. Mr. Rogers was scripted. The Joy of Painting wasn't. It wasn't until I got the box brownie pictures back that I knew what I was going to say, and I filmed it that day because I didn't know what kind of furniture they were going to put in. So I couldn't go and film and talk about a couch if they were going to put 4 chairs in the room, or whatever they were doing. So, but I watched a lot of Bob Ross on YouTube for that one to figure it out. And I mean, I have a green screen here, so I got to learn with that video and a few others on how to use that. So that was a skill that I said, I have this, I don't know how to use it. I want to incorporate this every once in a while. So I pushed myself to figure that out. But yeah, I mean, yes, you need to have scripts, but I say have more of an outline. Because if you have a script, you're going to want to follow it verbatim. And if you miss one word, then you're going to throw yourself for a loop. So, but if you write an outline and say, okay, here's what I need to say while I'm in the kitchen. Here's the points I need to hit. If there's a joke, I need that joke in there. But otherwise, I mean, if it's a paragraph that you have to read, you're going to constantly be going, did I get it right? No, that's not what I wrote. And it's never going to be good enough if you miss one word that you're going to keep wanting to do it over. So just be natural. If there is a small mistake, leave it in. It makes you more human. You're not making an Avengers movie, people. You're trying to sell a house.
So just to sort of, this has been amazing. This has been incredible. It's definitely a deep dive into how your mind works here. But what, for somebody who's like, oh man, I really want to do something like this. I don't know where to begin. What's your best resource? Just YouTube it? Or do you have like a couple of go-to?
You can learn anything on YouTube.
Yeah.
Anything. And, start small. Start small. Learn one little thing at a time and grow from there. And, if, Seth, done is better than finished any day, which is 100% true. And as you start making videos, even if like your first ones, I mean, what I do, look at my YouTube, look at my Facebook, copy it. I don't care. R&D, rip off and duplicate. That's fine. But as you start doing that, you get more comfortable with the process and you'll start finding your own voice and your own style. And once you hit that groove and you just start going, that's when it's really going to take off. I mean, if you see a great video, then you're like, oh, that's totally me. Like, rip it off, do it. Especially if it's someone else in another market. Like,
right.
I mean, I know an agent in Canada who did the Mr. Rogers video after I did because they shared it in one of my groups. And he actually sang it though, which I was very impressed with. But it worked for him. I can't sing, so it worked for me. And you'll just find your own voice, your groove, your style. Everyone has a different style, and that's what people are going to relate to at the end of the day, is you doing what you doing you. Do you.
Right. Right.
Even if it's someone else's idea, add your own twist to it. And
Good
you can
advice.
turn it into your own.
Good advice. Where can anybody reach you if they're like, hey, I'd love to just have a one-on-one with Bill, talk to him about this? What's the best way? I know you gave me your @
my Venmo. You can start with Venmo.
There we go.
So I mean, down below there, at Bill Olson Realtor on Instagram. On YouTube, it's youtube.com/Bill Olson TV. But pretty much everything goes off of Bill Olson Realtor. Bill Olson Realtor @gmail.com is the best email for me. And I mean, if you have any questions, I mean, I'm more than happy to schedule a call and answer any questions, or if you have a crazy idea, bounce it off of me. Oh, something else I forgot. So here's a little more into how my brain works. Are you familiar with improv comedy, Michael?
Yes.
So, there's one rule in improv comedy. Well, two. One is there are no rules, but then there is a rule. And it's you always say yes and. You never say yes but. And what that means is, as you're going through the scene in improv comedy, you're always adding to that scene. You're saying yes, and this, and this, and this, and this, until it gets so blown out of proportion. The second someone says yes, but, they've taken everything before that but and they've erased it and created a new scene. So when you're coming up with a crazy idea, always use that yes, and. Just keep adding to it. And you may end up with this idea that is so out there and unfathomable that you can't make it. But then when you look back, you're like, yeah, well, if I took like these 3 pieces of it, I could make that into a video and that would work. But if you would have said but, all of that would have been gone and you would have just been left with some stupid idea at the end. So that's kind of how my thought process goes sometimes, is just, it starts with something that might not work and you just keep building on it until it's something that really won't work. But within that scope, you've got ideas that will.
Awesome, Bill. Well, this has been incredible. Thank you for spending the last hour with us and prep time and all that.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. We're looking forward to the next video. Any sneak peek? I mean, any hey.
there's some ideas floating out there. There might be some booze involved.
Yeah, you might need a little bit
there
of
might
that.
be some booze involved in one and some dad jokes involved in another. There's some hints for you. You'll have to stay tuned on that.
Got it. Well, please share it as soon as it's available. And anyway, cheers again. In case somebody didn't see, I've got in honor of Bill, Cooper River Brewing Company from Charleston, IPA.
Yeah. Garage beer.
Homebrew, so.
Garage beer.
Yep, there you go.
Bootlegging.
All right. Well, cheers. Cheers. We'll see you very soon, I know. So
thanks for having me.
Thanks everybody else for joining us.
All right. Thank you, Michael.